Hello and welcome to this edition of Burgers and Fries, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you that are listening to this, hopefully on Thanksgiving Day, maybe the day after, but we are here to talk about a subject that Pat wanted to bring up.
Because it's something that's really been annoying me for a long time.
You know what? Does it annoy anybody else? Does this annoy you, Greg?
Not as much.
Does this annoy you, Tony?
Yeah, because it's November. November should be about Thanksgiving, not about Christmas.
Okay, now, Grant, does everybody celebrate Thanksgiving the same way they celebrate Christmas?
No.
And you can definitely say, "What? Hey, there's a lot of dark history behind the first Thanksgiving. It's not what they taught us in elementary school, especially when you talk about the wars between the Puritan settlers and the tribes that happened in New England." Sad to say that, yeah, the Wampanoag tribe, who has said, oh, they're the ones who helped the Puritan settlers. Well, did people know that the Wampanoag tribe and the Puritans had some wars?
Didn't know that.
See, a lot of people didn't know that. Does it have to be something that talks about the Puritan settlers and the tribes? No.
No.
You can do something in your own light, okay? You can use it as an excuse to get people to come together, get your family members to show up, or family and friends for a whatever course feast. A time to reflect on, what you do have, what you're thankful for what you have. So you can do that, and it doesn't have to be anything about the first Thanksgiving that there are TV specials and cartoons about.
Well, I don't mind it. That's how Thanksgiving is celebrated mainly these days. Just sitting around eating turkey, watching football and stuff. Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean,
for some people, there is a family tradition, and whatever it used to be about, it's far gone. In terms of Thanksgiving, there is the running joke that when November happens, anything about Thanksgiving is just overshadowed by the Christmas policy.
It is, especially when you hear Christmas music play on the radio in November.
Oh, that's another running gag of, well, that's when the Mariah Carey song starts to pop up, and oh no, it's coming.
When that radio station 93.9 Light FM started playing Christmas music on November 1st, guess which Christmas song was the very first Christmas song they played on November 1st at midnight?
That boring ass Mariah Carey song.
Yes. And to be honest with you, I like Mariah Carey. I don't mind that song, but they play it so much. It's just, oh my god, stop it right now. Especially when they did a redo version with Justin Bieber in it.
That sounds terrible.
Honestly, I'd rather just listen to Believe by...
For me, just put up any of the Christmas albums by Trans-Siberian Orchestra and I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, or better yet, if they want to play Mariah Carey, why don't they play her cover of her version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town? It's actually one of the best versions of that song I heard.
Sure, but we are getting off track. Now, speaking of November 1st, okay, what's the holiday that happens on the day before November 1st?
Halloween.
Now, would you guys agree that nowadays it feels like Halloween signals the beginning of the Christmas holidays?
Yes.
It no longer is a December thing. It's like a 2-month-long festivities, I should say.
I think Walmart kind of always had their Christmas decorations in the garden center long before October.
In the old days, we had the Thanksgiving Day parade, the Macy's parade, and it had the appearance of Santa at the end to signify, oh, that's when Christmas is around the corner. And then you'd have the Christmas sales go up, all right? But then it just feels like the sales just got earlier and earlier and earlier to the point where it's not even on Black Friday anymore. It's like throughout all of November. And I think they even start the sales in October now.
Kind of, because we already have Christmas candy already out of my job.
This is something I know that it did bug me a lot when I was a younger kid. But before I talk about what I would say and do, when did you notice the Christmas decorations going up in November, and when did it start to bug you?
Well, I started noticing it probably when I was 14 or 15 years old, but then when you become an adult at the age of 18, 19 years old, it's like, dear Lord, why is this stuff up so early? There's no Santa Claus coming in November, it's keep Christmas December, like how it used to be.
Pat, when did this start bugging you?
I would say it probably started when I was entering high school. That's when I began to notice all the ads for like Christmas and Black Friday.
Now, Pat and Tony, you mentioned how you noticed it when you were in high school. That's surprising because you've had 15 or 18 years of growing up to pay attention. How did you not notice it when you were younger?
Probably because we were kids' minds think differently than adults when they turn 18.
I wouldn't say that because when I started noticing it? I was 5 when I noticed it. I remember suddenly noticing while my mother is decorating for Thanksgiving, because she decorates for all the major holidays. And I noticed while my mother is doing Thanksgiving, while we're in preschool and we're doing those little arts and craft projects that we would do, and it would be referencing the pilgrims and the natives. So while that is happening, while we're all talking about this stuff in elementary school or preschool, all my neighbors have their Christmas lights up. And all of a sudden I see Santa in the mall in November before Thanksgiving. And I remember
That's crazy.
I remember him waving at me. Like my parents like, "Anthony, Santa's waving at you." And I gave him like a scowl. It was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I didn't say that as a 5-year-old, but that's what I was thinking. And as I said in one of the Black Friday rants that I did, I remember going outside, just shouting at the top of my lungs to the entire neighborhood, "There's no decorating for Christmas on Thanksgiving."
When you were
I
5,
was
you said
5
that?
when I noticed. Yes, I was 5 when I noticed it. It was bugging me as a child.
I wouldn't have known about it back then. I was
How
way
would you
too
not have
young.
known about it though back then? Like, if I noticed it when I was a little kid, how did you guys not notice it?
I have no idea.
Honestly, I didn't care.
Didn't care is one thing. That part I can understand. Because for all I remember, like they would usually be these big family gatherings. And then that's where I'm going to get to the next part of this is, would you guys like to share any traditions or any memorable family gatherings that you have done for Thanksgiving?
Well, I'll go first and be like, well, usually we just go to someone's house, or we'll have it at our house and stuff on mom or dad's side of the family, and we'll just eat turkey, eat food, and watch some football or TV or so, and that's pretty much what we do.
Well, I used to visit my grandparents during Thanksgiving.
Like Tony, we would either have Thanksgiving at our house or go to a relative's house. The only time we didn't really go to our relatives was probably like Tony, the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, we couldn't really go anywhere, so we had Thanksgiving at our house.
But I can talk about things that my family has done. So first, I could talk about my Opa. All right. Now, he passed away in 2007, but he wasn't necessarily the nicest guy in the family. He wasn't the nicest guy to people. Wasn't really the nicest father to my dad. Let's just say that. There used to be a running gag among my oldest brothers about what's the over-under on when Opa is going to start weeping because he's had too much wine, and he just starts crying and going, "Oh, this family's so beautiful. Oh, what a great family we live in." My older brothers would always make bets on that. And then there was one Thanksgiving, my dad invited him, and he said no. Like, okay. But then he started going, "Wait, is your son's wife cooking?" "Yeah." "Oh, then I'll come." So he was very set in his ways. Let's just put it that way. But one tradition that my family does have is called a blessings box. So you know how at Thanksgiving dinners where you're supposed to, "Oh, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that." Do you guys have anything like that?
No, nobody even does that anymore these days. Exactly, no one does that anymore.
Well, I know who does it. My mother.
Yeah, well, one person.
Well, still, it's a tradition that started when I was born, and she's kept doing it for 35 years. Well, instead of just outright saying what we're thankful for, what she would have us do is we would all be given slips of paper and pencils or pens, and we would write down what we're thankful for. And it would be put into the box after we read it out loud. So there's entries from my late brother in there. There's entries from my ex-wife in there. People that came in and out of the family. So there's a lot of kind of family history inside this blessings box that my mother started. So that's why it's kind of an important family tradition. As much as it would irritate me sometimes that we would do it, because I would always have to think of, "Oh crap, what do I got to write about this year?" God damn it! What am I thankful for?
Yeah.
There was one time where I think my mother forgot to do the blessings box for a year or two, and then so then she brings it back, and I just write down in the blessings box entry. I said, just when we thought we were safe from the blessings box and we didn't have to do this again, bam, here it is again, and I wrote that down. So that's one of the things that we would do for traditions. And I think my sister is going to try to continue it. I don't know. So that's just something that my family has done for.
The holiday kind of loses its charm as you get older and older because you're doing the same thing every year.
I wouldn't say that. If you manage to have different Thanksgivings or you see different people, there's actually one Thanksgiving that happened with us that stands out for the wrong reasons. And it's just something that my dad has never lived down.
What happened?
So we decided to invite a bunch of my nephew's hockey families for Thanksgiving. And it was so big of a party that we actually rented tables to make this huge Thanksgiving feast happen. Like our entire living room turned into this big dining room of rented tables and silverware and all that. And my dad tried this new recipe to make a Thanksgiving turkey. And for whatever reason, he must have not done it right, or whatever happens, he overcooked the turkey. And you know how in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, when they cut the turkey open and it's so dry that it basically falls apart?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know it. Full House.
That's what
some of that.
That is what happened with this fucking turkey that we had. The turkey that we ended up getting was so goddamn dry that it was almost impossible to eat, and my dad has never lived it down since then.
Well, like, speaking of, now that you mentioned turkey, Anthony, like, there was one year we went to my aunt's house, my dad's sister. Her oven wasn't working properly, so my uncle just cut down the grill, and it was done within like very, very quickly. But like, the thing is that like when we get our turkey, we just get a huge turkey breast because it's white meat and white meat to that, and we like the turkey breast better and stuff for everybody.
Oh no, dark meat's the way to go, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Am I the only person? Am I one of the only people who likes to think white meat is healthier?
I don't care if it's healthier. You're not. When is Thanksgiving ever meant to be healthy?
I like.
You're eating a shit ton of food, and you're having pie and dessert. It's not necessarily the healthiest day.
Well, I don't eat the pie, but I do like to eat the other desserts. I also love the stuffing my mom makes. My mom makes basically just cheese, egg, and sausage stuffing. It's delicious.
That's another thing. Like, stuffing can be a wild card deal breaker. You can have this amazing stuffing recipe, or it could be the most bland shit ever. I can understand that.
Oh yeah, I can tell you about stuffing. Like with that restaurant where we went to where I had salmon, the stuffing was so bland. It was just like bread dough. What is this?
But back to what you said, Tony. It's like, you're right. Thanksgiving, it's supposed to be a different holiday. It's supposed to feel different from Christmas. And I think that's why it still has a charm even as you get older. The only things that happen as you get older, especially if you're hosting Thanksgiving, is like obviously the cost of the food and all the hours that you have to spend prepping and then cleaning up the joint. Like when you're the people that actually have to do it, yeah, it does become a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know, especially when we're having Thanksgiving. Oh, you do not want to bug my mom because she's in one of those moods where she wants to get everything done as soon as possible and gets really stressed out. It just makes me think, well, we're not having Thanksgiving this year, that's for sure. I think my mom deserves a break from that stuff.
Let's talk about, gentlemen, why do we hate all the Christmas stuff happening in November?
Well, it's because one, it's too early. It's too early. November should be about Thanksgiving, not Christmas. Two,
but what about the people that don't celebrate Thanksgiving? What should it be about them?
I don't know. Just have it be just like a regular month or something like that.
Either a regular month, or they can, instead of it being associated with the stories we were told when we were in elementary school, just have it be a family get together.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving. It's gonna be like, it could be an unofficial family get together.
Yeah, I know. Like in Canada, they celebrate Thanksgiving in October, I think. In Canada.
Was I in the right as a 5-year-old to give us a depressing scowl at Santa Claus for showing up in November?
You were young.
I
You
would
didn't
have
know
praised you as a hero.
So, Pat, why do you not like the Christmas festivities happening in November?
Like Tony said, it's just too early. I mean, it was always that you'd have Thanksgiving first, then Christmas. Now it's like everything is ass backwards.
It's basically the same meal. I mean, what do you have on Thanksgiving? Oh, let's have turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and yams and all that stuff. What do you have for Christmas Eve? Oh, let's have turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and yams. It's all the same shit.
Turkey on Christmas too, if that makes any sense.
That's
but
what I'm.
that's
Well,
only
you can
'cause
eat
I'm
whatever
a
the hell you
picky
want.
eater.
One Christmas dinner we had prime rib. Another Christmas dinner, my sister-in-law made king crab legs.
On Christmas Eve when COVID hit, my family and I ordered Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, so Greg, you're basically still saying you don't care if they celebrate Christmas in November, right?
Right.
All right. So what about the Black Friday stuff?
Oh, I'm gonna get to this one. Black Friday is one of the worst days ever because it just basically used to go shopping and be rude and be pushy and demanding to all the people in the stores and everything like that. I worked Black Friday last year. It wasn't that bad. Thankfully, I don't have to work Black Friday this year, but I worked it last year, and like I said, it wasn't so bad. But you think about like how crowded and jammed up and packed up all the traffic is and everything like that. It's just a mess. It's like, imagine if there was a big protest going on and people were destroying stuff just to get into a store for shopping. That's what Black Friday is like for me. That's one day where you just want to just stay home or go to the gym. And besides, we got the internet now for this stuff.
Black Friday sales over the years just got earlier and earlier and earlier. So like around the time Opa and my late brother were alive, yeah, they would start the sales at some time in the morning. And then they just went to midnight on Friday, and then they started doing the sales on Thanksgiving Day. And if I'm not mistaken, are they starting to do the sales in the month of November now?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Are they even starting to do the sales in October?
No, not October, but they start around they start the week of Thanksgiving.
I call it.
And what's sad about Black Friday, you're celebrating Thanksgiving, and then as soon as you get done eating, you have to go to bed. You gotta get away from the Black Friday sales.
Or you could do what happened one Thanksgiving at my parents' house when we had my brother and his family. We all get the Thanksgiving stuff ready, sit at the dinner table, all think about, oh, we're thankful for this and for what we have. And I swear, within 15 to 20 minutes, they finished their dinner and were out the door for Black Friday. And I remember me sitting with my mom and dad, who were the only people left at the house, going, what the fuck?
Thankfully, Walgreens got a new policy where we're closed on Thanksgiving this year, so that's good.
But that's for certain stores, and nobody really wants to go to Walgreens to get a TV.
I know, just saying.
Oh yeah, I gotta get that sale on that pack of gum.
Just for a pack of gum?
Oh no, special pharmacy deals at Walgreens on Black Friday. Get 2 shots for the price of 1. Tony, you're talking about how Christmas nowadays is just way too commercialized.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you gentlemen this. What is Christmas these days? Christmas is just all about, oh, how many presents we can get, or I want to get the new game system, or the new iPad, or the new this or that. It's all about presents. They commercialize it so much where people don't even care about what the meaning of Christmas is. All they care about is the presents and the gift cards and the money. It's just sad because, and here's one more thing about how it's so commercialized. And you guys are going to agree on this. These people, like these mothers who bring these kids into the mall to do Christmas shopping, and they bring them by the toys, and they kick and scream and make a scene. Just like, it's just like, dear Lord, why would you bring your kid here when you know they're gonna make a scene here around the Christmas time, when they're gonna wait when they know they want the toy, and they gotta wait a few days, it feels like forever to them. It's like, dear Lord, keep them out of the store.
Did Christmas shopping and Black Friday murder one of your kittens, Tony? You're acting like they murdered you.
No, it didn't. No, not that. Just, I see how it is. And just back when I was a kid, Christmas was never that commercialized. It was never like that, where people were like...
No, it was. It's just that when you're in the safety of being a child and not have to worry about bills and not have to worry about all that stuff, then it's mostly a fun time of the year. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely get this new game system. I can't wait for my parents to get me the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, man, I wanted the PlayStation 2. If there's one other thing that I'm gonna talk about Christmas being overly commercialized, is the marathon of the same Christmas movies over and over again. And I'm looking at you, Christmas Story, and
Don't even
I'm-
get me started on that.
We've done a podcast on Christmas movies and Christmas specials. All right.
I'm going to bring this part up because for the new people who just subscribed, the Christmas Story and Elf are the two most overrated Christmas films I have ever seen in my life. I get they're popular, but we don't need to have a 24-hour marathon of those movies. People have seen them.
It's a tradition.
It's been done to death over. How about they play My Favorite Christmas?
No, it's a tradition, dude. That's a tradition on their station that they've been doing for a lot of years.
How about they play My Favorite Christmas movie?
And if you don't want to watch it, then don't fucking watch it. There's how many satellite channels?
Kinda hard to not when there's so
not, and a lot of people don't even watch live TV anymore. They just stream shit. So a lot of people are unaware that Christmas Story gets shown on a 24-hour loop on Christmas Day.
Well, still, I mean, every year around Christmas time, there is one Christmas movie I will always watch around Christmas time. It's one of my favorites from 1944.
Die Hard.
Nope, Meet Me in St. Louis, starring Judy Garland. One of the best films.
Great. You get your traditional movies for Thanksgiving. Other people, for them, it's Christmas Story. For other people, it's Home Alone. For other people, it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I'm at Home Alone. I like Home
For
Alone.
other people, it's all of the above.
It's Die Hard.
There you go. Because fuck you, it's Die Hard.
You forgot a Christmas movie. Lethal Weapon.
Okay, but we've already done a huge podcast about
Yeah,
this.
but
Okay, if you really want to go back to it, go back to it. It's on our playlist, folks. We've already talked about Christmas movies and Christmas specials. People can choose to watch the 24-hour marathon of Christmas Story, or to have it on when there's family over when they're opening presents, or they can choose not to.
I just don't.
You can choose Tony to watch it or not. Who gives a flying fuck if it's on?
I just don't get what's so good about that movie. It's just about a kid wanting a BB gun and stuff. What's the point? What's so good?
Once I gotta side with Tony.
I understand people not liking that movie. I'm not saying that you have to like A Christmas Story.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah. And you're acting like, oh, how dare it? It's on a 24-hour loop.
Well, it can get pretty repetitive after a while.
That's why you only watch it once a year. But is there anything else we need to mention about Thanksgiving and Black Friday before we close the diner?
Nope.
Well, actually, I have a question for all of you. How old were you guys when you found out there was no Santa Claus?
I mean,
8.
13.
I was probably out of high school when that happened.
Really? I found out when I was 7th
Are
grade.
you... you found out when you were 13?
Yeah.
Once my parents did a picture of me with Santa and saw how much larger I was and how big I looked in the photo, that's basically when my brother set me aside and said, Anthony, Santa's not real.
Well,
and I was 8.
Really?
Yes, I was 8.
Well, I remember me and my dad were talking about something, and then he told me I was told not to tell my brother because my brother was only 10 years old, and then when he reached 14, my family and I finally said it was time to tell him.
For those of you that are listening, why don't you tell us when you found out that Santa's not real? Because I think, no offense to anybody, but I do think it's kind of pathetic that you found out so late. I cannot see kids when they're 12 and 13 thinking
11.
that Santa Claus is real.
Hell,
I just don't see that.
I was 11 years old when I found out there was no Easter Bunny. I found out in Jamaica there was no Easter Bunny when I was 11 years old.
So there was a point when you knew the Easter Bunny wasn't real, but then you thought Santa was still real?
Yeah. Don't ask.
And yet,
I pretty much figured out. No, once they told me Santa wasn't real, then that was it. Oh, no Tooth Fairy, no Easter Bunny.
I found there was
Like,
I found out when I was 10,
no
it was
Cupid.
Fairy.
and yet we still spread the lie anyway. We haven't learned anything.
See, and I don't know if I'm gonna even have my children believe in Santa Claus. Maybe if I do, not until they get to until age 6 or 7, when I feel like that they're mature. So maybe that makes sense. Maybe your parents didn't think you were mature enough to find out until you were fucking high school.
You gotta feel. You know what the sad thing is when you found out there's no Santa. You gotta feel for the kid.
I was actually very pissed when I found out. Like, my parents told me I was
wasn't
mad when I found out. Because I remember that my mother wanted me to inherit a lot of Christmas decorations. So when my sister was supposed to inherit the angels and I was supposed to inherit all the Santa Clauses. And then when I found out, or they told me that Santa wasn't real, I told my mother, I don't want these decorations.
Yeah, and what's sad is, like, even though Santa's not real, he's everywhere, like on the Coca-Cola boxes and in movies and specials.
Oh, I want to share the story. I know you guys don't want me to, but I want to share it. It's about when I was 9 years old, in 3rd grade. It was on Christmas Eve. My dad, my brother, and I were at the movie theater watching Home Alone 3, and my mom told me that she heard sleigh bells.
This is turning into a Christmas
Well, we're talking
podcast. I
Christmas
thought
right
we were
now,
talking
that's why.
Thanksgiving.
Never mind. I don't need to share. I don't need to share a story.
This is supposed to be about the.
I don't
Maybe
need to
this. No, I think this is I honestly think this is the point we're making in this podcast about that's actually hilarious. We talk about Thanksgiving and it
Well-
gets overshadowed by Christmas stuff. You couldn't write
Oh,
this
it's
shit any
exciting.
better.
Never mind,
This is
never.
great. So, okay, Tony, if you really think you need to tell this Christmas story, go right ahead. Otherwise, and
Look,
I think this is running its
Let
course.
me just
I
wrap
think
the
it's
story
time to
up,
close the
and then
diner.
We can close the diner. It was with my mom. My mom told me she heard sleigh bells,
Proceed.
and that Santa brought a gift that was too big to put on the sled. And then we opened up next day. It was a piano, and it was like, I didn't know what to believe about that. I just said, getting my first musical instrument, I just had to bring it up there. That's all.
Well, I guess since we're talking Christmas stuff, guys, is there anything else you want to bring
Merry
up before
Christmas, ho, ho,
I
ho.
close the diner? It's Thanksgiving, asshole.
I'm being silly.
I will say that the more they promote Christmas earlier and earlier every year, the more I just begin to lose interest in Christmas.
Me too.
I suppose so, guys. Anything else, Greg?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that said, gentlemen, the diner is closed. All right. If you like this podcast, be sure to leave a like and subscribe and join our Discord server if you want to potentially become a panelist yourself. I'm Desert Coyote 22. Thanks for listening.